9 points, 13 punts. That's what we just watched. CHGO Bears postgame starts right now. If it can get worse, you know the answer. It usually can. 6-3. We just watched a game that the Bears lost 6-3. Oh man, Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, Lance Briggs, Greg Braggs. We are here for you. We got this post game and one more to go, boys.
So, hi. I got to tell you, to the Bears fans out there, you are massively entertaining. The ones in our Discord, the ones on Twitter, the ones in the stadium, the 3 dudes they showed at the very end of the game with a bag on their heads, the 15-year-old with his shirt off begging, everyone looking around, what's going on, the sell the team chants. This was like a collective low point of the franchise tonight. 3 points the day after Christmas. The interception streak coming to an end. We'll get to Hoge's instant reaction in a second, but this was I feel like tonight was historic. I didn't fix my hair.
I was just about to say,
Steven, come on, can we zoom
fans
in on
feel
that?
like Carm's hair.
I'm just going to leave it like this tonight.
Woo!
That sums up.
Because I was sitting there the whole game like this, and that's what happened.
This sums up the game that we just watched right here.
I don't already. What was that? So bad.
Listen, I'll say this.
So bad.
I'll say this. That's the best I've seen the defense play in a very, 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 very long time.
Yes.
And
Yeah, their backup running back, and Geno Smith looked like he should be quarterback in a high school team.
Yeah.
The Bears actually look like a high school team.
Yeah. So it was bad.
All right, we're gonna get into all of it. Why don't we start?
Hoge's instant reaction where he's just gonna fall asleep.
No. The Adam Hoge instant 6-3. You lost your 10th straight in a row to tying his franchise record to the Seahawks. Go ahead.
I gotta be honest with you. I need to go on a little rant here for a second.
I can't wait. Let's go.
I mean, this was a pretty epic, last 5-6 minutes of the game. Why are the Bears always the team that jumps off sides? It doesn't matter if they're on offense or defense. If someone's trying to get the other team to jump, they're always the ones that jumps. Every time. It's unbelievable. And then there could not have been a more perfect moment for this entire season than what happened than that going into, okay, now we're going to punt. Now we're going to burn a timeout. Now the crowd's chanting, sell the team. And then Caleb has to have a miraculous throw and then immediately takes a sack. I mean, that sequence right there. Offensive line jumps. They can't make up their mind on what they're doing. They unnecessarily burn a timeout. Caleb has an amazing play and then takes a sack right after that. I mean, that is the Bears season. That's 2024 right there. It was unbelievable. And then they follow that up with 2 play calls that don't get you into field goal range, which you can still get in the field goal range to tie the game. And the next 2 calls, while it was technically 2nd and 3rd down, did not help you get into field goal range. So then now it's 4th down, and then just add insult to everything else, Caleb's interception streak ends. That's how the game ended. I mean, it could not have been more. That could not have been more perfect.
Well, Hoge, I would say this. And fellas, there is one reason why this happened to the Bears.
Why?
Say it with me.
Why?
The Bears gonna bear.
Bears are gonna bear.
Bears bared. Bad.
They find a way. They're going to find a way to lose this game. The thing about Caleb, in those situations, you can see where the growth needs to happen. A lot of rookie decisions. And especially taking the sacks and holding the ball and trying to hit the home runs and all that stuff. But also the call too. The call. Now, you have all those guys that are lining up there, and you know that they're bringing at least 5. You got to have an answer for that. You don't have to hit the home run right now. We're just trying to get first downs.
Yeah.
The play where Curran ended up jumping, my guy Jay Curran.
Also, what were they doing there?
So that's what I'm saying.
You need an inch.
So you have been watching your football team the entire season jump off sides. On that play, motion left, motion this way, move Cole over here, move, and then finally, of course, somebody on the Bears jumped and nobody from Seattle moved.
Right.
Like, dude, you're trying to get a yard. Get up there, keep it basic, snap the ball, run behind someone, and pick up instead, like, you're not going to trick them. You're going to trick yourself. You've been tricking yourself all season long.
Right. That play required a team that can execute because pre-snap they showed 3 different looks and 3 different formation sets. And yes, of course, then your backup to the backup left guard jumps off sides. It's a joke. And honestly, at this point, there's no more hiding for these players. All the coaches are now fired. And how many games have they lost where it comes down to the final drive of the game and the Bears couldn't look more unorganized on every one of those drives? Shane Waldron was shown the door. Matt Eberflus was shown the door because of those execution problems. And now here you get to the end and you have to burn a timeout. You have to run a play. You got to get up to the line of scrimmage. Why is it taking you so long to get up and run a damn play? Timeouts are paramount. And once again, you're screwing around, dilly-dallying, and now you have to burn a timeout.
I disagree with you on one point on that, Braggs. You do have to run a play, but you have to run the right play.
Right.
And if you don't have the right play called, you need to burn a timeout.
But it wasn't because they didn't have the right play. They were about to have a delay a game. They were about to have a delay a game. I don't know how that happens in that situation. It's just, well, I do know how. The Bears are going to bear.
Every time.
I'm trying to figure out what happened to Thomas Brown.
He looks dejected.
Well,
he looks dejected.
I haven't seen an emotion on the plus side. I haven't seen an emotion on the negative side. All I've seen is a dude who came in with like this kind of like hardcore, gonna come correct, do everything right. Yeah. I had hopes for him as an interim coach. Maybe he'd actually compete for the job. He hasn't moved. He just sits there and like, I'm like, dude, you're more defeated than anybody in the history of the franchise right now at the top of the food chain. And I'm not putting it on him, but it's just confusing to me. Is anybody awake over there? And just the whole, to what you were just saying.
Everyone should get a lot of credit for staying awake through that whole game.
But like what you were just teeing up, Rags.
That's a trick.
Look, the offense falling apart, they came for Shane. You can't figure out how to call a timeout, Hail Mary, they came for Flus. And now I do wonder, when you look that bad on national TV with chance for sell the team, and if I'm Kevin Warren, I'm watching this, what exactly are we good at? I got to wonder, at 10 losses in a row, this could flip it for polls. Are they coming for him? Because it's what do they do well? I can't figure it out.
And you could go through the roster and ask those questions, but how about even right at the end? I like Cairo Santos. It's 2024. You don't have a kicker that can attempt a 57-yard field goal at the end of the game?
Right. You do not.
Right.
You
Kevin,
do not.
This is the closest the Bears have come to winning in a while. I know it was 6-3, and I know that the Seattle Seahawks, even though they might win their doggone division, they did look like a high school football team as well out there. It's the closest the Bears have come to winning a football game, all things considered.
You put up 3 points against the Seattle Seahawks at home.
Yeah. You were giving up average of 30 the previous 4 weeks.
Sure, the defense was better. I swear Seattle was
I picked the Seahawks to score 34 today.
34, right? I thought they'd score at least 30.
That was a weird game.
It was.
That was
last week. The Seahawks gave up 27 to Minnesota. The week before that, they gave up 30 to Green Bay. 18-20. I mean, it's a little, obviously the Dolphins scored 3 points against them when they didn't have Tua in week 3. 3 points. And by the way, it's also at the end of the season when you were supposedly, you get better throughout the year, you figure it out. Guys get on the same page. I get it. You were missing Braxton Jones. I get it. You were. Yeah. I mean, come on.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on up front. I don't think that we were expecting a miracle from their offensive line. We weren't expecting a miracle, but they did give some opportunities today. But we do what we always do. There are overthrows. There are dropped catchable footballs that extend drives, the things that we continue to do all the time. We did again today. And even with the score being what it ended up being, we're still our biggest problem is ourselves.
I agree.
Top to bottom, from some of the calls to the execution to the personnel.
This is one of those games, though, where I look at it, I'm like, how many teams in the NFL would the Seahawks have beaten today?
1. I'm not
because
kidding.
To your point, what you're just saying, Lance, like, all they had to do was not beat themselves, and
they don't know how to do that.
They don't.
They don't know how to do that.
They don't.
I mean,
so bad.
So.
6.
I'm just going to put it out
to 3.
I'm going to put it out to the panel. Let me just ask the question.
In the year of 2024 of our Lord,
what do the Bears do well?
Mismanage the clock at the end of the game.
Mess up.
Yeah, find a way to lose.
They're really good at sending their fans home.
How'd Torrey Taylor do today?
They were really good at tricking their fans today a little bit. Guys, I heard it a little bit. I heard it. Guys are like, this is my integrity on the line.
I picked the damn Bears to win. My reputation is ruined because of you.
I mean,
that's on you, dude.
No,
that's on you.
No doubt.
This is like the 4th time it's happened.
Exactly.
The Washington game, I picked them. The Minnesota game at home, I picked them. I picked them in this game. The Colts game. You're ruining my life.
See, I learned the first Vikings game. Now, even that was too late. But I have not picked the Bears to win since. And I won't.
You're supposed to learn supposed to learn from President Bush. Hey, when a fool get fooled again, you can't fool again. You get fooled too many times.
Yeah.
I just can't get over the fact that they kept on. They're showing polls in his box, and it's like the fog. You can barely see him. He's like in there somewhere. And then they flash to Warren, and he's in his box, and he's sitting next to. And I'm like, what?
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, but Carm, let me ask you this.
Okay.
All right. What's next? Like, if we fire polls, we have Kevin Warren there. What's next? What happens to us?
This is what you do, Lance. At this point,
Carm.
okay. Let me give you my plan. I'm going to call up Ben Johnson, and I'm going to say, Ben, listen. We have a quarterback we believe in. I think you believe in him too. Everything else over here is on the table. We want you to take this guy and get him to the level that we think, and I think that you think he can get to. If you want to work with Ryan, sweet. If you got somebody else, you got 3 guys that you want us to interview, or 2 guys, or 1 guy. I would literally, at this point, I would be looking for someone to turn the keys over to. And if that doesn't work, then I'd call up Pete Carroll and I'd talk to him, who's begging for the job, who's got a hell of a pedigree. You need, like, they basically, George just went and said to Kevin, here you go. I can't do this anymore. Well, I think Kevin should have some level of self-awareness and be like, I know that guy right there, I'm going to risk that I'm not going to lose a whole lot there, and I'm going to go out and a guy that is this well-respected that everybody's going to come after, I'm going to give him carte blanche to either A, work with Ryan, or B, work with someone and get this thing turned around.
Well, whatever. So I do agree with you on that, especially that last part right there. Whomever comes in needs to have more control than they've ever given a Bears head coach over what personnel he needs. And you need a coach that comes in and says, okay, and the offensive side, I can use him. We can keep him. We can keep him. We need someone here, here, and here. Your defensive coach, and then it's not just me. The defensive coach comes in. We need to keep him, and him, and we need a guy that fits this profile for this position, and that's what we need. And we need to be a part of the selection process, not just, hey guys, we're going to select this guy. We're going to fourth round. We're going to go get this punter. We're going to go get this punter in the fourth round when you have a bunch of coaches that are like, listen, there's a guy we can use there.
Right. Well, and see that's where I've had my biggest flip on polls. It's like, look, man,
the punter pick.
No, I know. I just
that was it.
Well, but that's like evidence number 48 out of or of whatever. But like, dude, if you went to training camp this year, you saw Corliss Waitman, you saw Torrey Taylor, and they were the same. It was close enough. You need players. That was insane. But aside from that, we can all go through this. Is Tremaine Edmonds, do you see anything there as a difference maker? No. In 2 years, nothing. You gave him $20 million. It's a whiff. Nate Davis is a whiff. DeAndre Swift is a whiff. Whiff.
I disagree. I think that's a guy that if you get Ben Johnson here, Ben Johnson's going to see him in the same form as a Jahmyr Gibbs. He's going to say, listen, I can do something with that kid.
Yeah, but okay, listen, I'm not
the
saying.
only thing is, didn't they trade him away when he was with the Lions?
I'm not saying in tandem that he couldn't be okay, but he's not Jahmyr Gibbs.
No, I'm not saying he's Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's Jahmyr Gibbs. However, he presents a player similar to him for the Bears. Because if you don't, you're going to have to go get – how are you going to get two running backs to replace the ones that we currently have? Plus, we need offensive linemen.
I'm not disagreeing that Ben Johnson can get more out of DeAndre Swift or any of these skill guys, but to Hoge's point, they did get rid of DeAndre Swift with Ben Johnson as the OC in Detroit. A guy that I'd really be looking at that I think Ben Johnson can really turn back into who we brought him here is DJ Moore. And when you see with Amon-Ra St. Brown again, Amon-Ra probably, higher echelon, but I think they're similar skill sets. So, but let's hope they, yeah.
Well, really, to me, the thing is not even just like who we're talking, like erase the player's name. It's Bears signing X player that division rival who's actually good got rid of and upgraded from. You know what I mean? Like it's like that stuff happens too much. You know what I mean? Like, you're trying to here's a player that your division rival decided wasn't fitting their system, and then you're paying him a couple years later probably too much money to come over, and he's not going to be able to do the same thing.
But they took Montgomery, and we didn't want Montgomery.
That's my point. Like, and part of them upgrading was taking your running back. But I guess my point is it doesn't really matter who the players are because the Bears players that go elsewhere get better, and then the opponent players, they come to Chicago, they get worse.
Yep,
that's what happens. That's how it works. It's crazy how it keeps happening. All right, take our first time out here on CHGO Bears postgame. I got a lot more coming up, but first, our friends at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary are here to elevate
toke it up
your last 2 weeks of this season. You need it. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. They have a crazy selection with over 100 different strains to choose from with easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Stop in the store nearest you throughout Illinois for expert guidance from their staff or select from quality lines like Cresco or FloraCal. And running through the end of the month, you can still get in on this. Sunnyside's Scratch and Stash is back again this holiday season. Receive a scratch-off card every time you shop, now through December 31st or while supplies last. Every card is a winner. You could win big, like 50% off or $100 off your next purchase. Hurry in to see what you win. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders.
And a shout out to our friends at ComEd. Gregory, you know, ComEd can help businesses save money by becoming more energy efficient.
I didn't know anything, and I certainly didn't know that ComEd did that.
Yep, the energy efficiency program can help find up to 35% in energy savings.
Wow. So what should businesses have to do, Mark Carman?
You just got to sign up for a free facility assessment at ComEd.com/biz.
So why aren't more businesses doing it?
Perhaps they forgot the website, ComEd.com/biz, ComEd.com/biz, ComEd.com/biz.
That should do it. Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change. Actual savings will vary by customers' energy usage and rate. The ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is funded in compliance with state law.
All right. As we move to our franchise focus.
That's right. Caleb Williams. Oh, boy. 122 yards. 1 touchdown. Just a 53 passer rating, 16 of 28. And not one you're probably going to want to write home to.
Honestly, you know, short of some pretty miraculous throws at the end, just a pitiful performance. And the sacks, while you only had 2 last on Sunday against the Lions, you get 7 more here today. And it's just, I think you're just having this roller coaster ride where, you know, Caleb Williams is really having trouble reading the rush. And there's times where he needs to get the ball out of his hands. Certainly, the offensive line has, not done him any favors and didn't at the end of this game. But, there's a lot of times where Caleb Williams, and you saw it on the screen pass to DeAndre Swift, where that was actually set up decently. And right, he needed to just slow down a little bit, but everything's so sped up for him at this point that, most of what he's trying to do in the pocket is a lost cause. And you really hate to see it because, there's been a few different string of games where they've put things together and he's started to pick up the pace, statistically. But for the most part, it just has not been a good season, even if some of the stats speak to some positivity.
Rags, one of the things that stuck out to me today was when the blitz or someone showed blitz, I don't see Caleb acknowledge it. I just see him running the offense. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because the more that you acknowledge, and one of the things that help you with that is hard counts. Let's do a few hard counts. It seemed like they had the timing of the snap every play. Mm-hmm. Let's throw them off. We're at home. Let's throw them off a bit and slow down the rush with our hard count. And then let's get them to show their hand. They showed their hand. I don't know. Obviously, we don't have hot routes built or hot route checks. It's supposed to be built in. But listen, there are routes that beat these type of coverages. And so some of the stuff, you get these routes and he's rushing or he's dropping back, 8, 9, 10 yards trying to avoid the rush. Doesn't make sense to me. They're showing these guys there should be routes that you should be able to throw that's quick.
Something coming across the middle, right? Because you're trying to chuck it deep, coming across. And then to your point, the other point of this too is how many different screen passes did they call when you're talking about not having a hard count? They're reading the snap to where they're almost intercepting the pass multiple times on screen passes.
Correct.
They're all over it. You can hear on the TV broadcast, they're yelling screen before the ball even comes out of their hand. So they're reading the snap count. They're reading the play. These simplistic designs have absolutely no chance. And then the rest of it, the operation is awful. It's atrocious.
Also damning when you we always have 2 monitors here in our studio, and so the second one I put on the Prime Vision, which is always one of the great things about the Thursday night games. Mm-hmm. And the Prime Vision, they will actually they're literally showing you where the blitzes might come from pre-snap.
Right.
Like their technology is showing you the defenders that are in red, and it's like, man, if only Caleb had this vision like built into his helmet. And because it was to me, it was even more damning tonight as we're watching on Amazon Prime, because that like the one sack where he ran like 14 yards straight backwards and went down, like those two guys on the left side were lit up in red before the snap.
Yeah.
And the quarterback needs to be able to see that that's 2-on-1 on the left tackle, unless you slide the protection or you got something else, or you're hot. You got to know you're hot. And I'll give the Seahawks credit. Yes, they did a good job of dropping back. Greg actually called us out in the moment. In the snap, the other side of the line, they dropped back into
they showed rush
into the area that DJ Moore. That's where he was going to throw. But you got to have another answer built in.
So there was a play where Seattle had the ball. Tremaine was showing a blitz. He comes out of the blitz. They run a receiver crosses his face, or tight end crosses his face. The receiver runs an option route. So what they do is, because of they understand where his drop is, as he drops to that hook curl area, the receiver, you have one that crosses his face. The receiver pauses and then works away from the zone, which creates the space, enough space that you need to get the ball out, even though we have a blitzer, an extra blitzer coming. There's ways to beat this thing. Yep. You know, that might take a little bit more time, but there are plenty of routes that you can run to beat 5-man, 6-man pressure, or when guys are dropping out, even when they're showing blitz and coming out, playing zone.
Yeah, and look, I think we're way far away from it being like a lost cause. I still think that this is mostly a young quarterback who's inexperienced. Are there some concerning signs here? Absolutely. Has anything about this season been fair at all to anyone? Really? No. But guys, I keep coming back to, sorry for moving the conversation off Caleb. I can't stop thinking about Ryan Poles and all this, because this is just, it seems like a really complicated situation. It's what we were talking about earlier, like whoever, and I agree with you that they need to make an adjustment, and whichever coach they hire needs to have a little bit more power, because they're going to be in a spot here where they either fire Ryan Poles right away when the season's over, which I don't necessarily think this is how that goes. But this is 10 straight losses. And to Carm's point earlier, what is the area that they what do they consistently do well? And I think that's a fair question. But if you're not going to fire him, then you either got to say, oh, we're definitely keeping him. And the only way to like really do that is to give him a contract extension, which seems crazy right now to do that.
It'd be crazy.
Or you keep him in limbo, but he's supposedly the one leading the coaching search. None of these options to me are good. I don't know how you
have Kevin Warren that's in the building now. I don't think that you have, there's some checks and balances. It's, to me, it's too scary to not know what someone else brings. When you know what you have, there's an opportunity for you to fix what's been done. There's an opportunity for you to make the proper adjustments. What we have done in Chicago is fire and hire a dozen times. We fire and hire, and it's a whole new thought process, a whole new regime, and I don't want what that old regime had. I want something new, and that has not worked.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing I'll say to just try to put a bow on the whole Caleb Williams thing is, to me, he has shown a lot of bright spots this season. And I think there's encouragement going forward because of his ability, and even flashes in moments here tonight where he has to make a play and the odds are completely stacked against him right in the moment. But that being said, I mean, you look at the start of this game and some of the overthrows, wide open receivers, you can talk about the offensive line. You can talk about the play calling and the coaching and the absolute chaos going around them. And I'll grant you all of that. And you can show me all these different stats that show me the encouragement of the future, and I will hear that encouragement. But at the same time, just all in all, from the eye test, watching these games each week and watching some of these simple throws be missed, it just leads me to be disappointed for what I thought this season could be for him. That doesn't mean that I'm not still, excited about his future. And yes, I had some higher expectations for the team, but I still feel like for Caleb Williams, he didn't meet the expectation that I thought he could reach this year, just from some of the simple things that aren't happening. The interception record ends on the final throw of this game. And for me, I think a lot of fans are going to lean on the interception stats, but those are also skewed when you consider the amount of sacks taken this year, 66 sacks. And then if you look at the pressure to sack ratio, he is the second worst in the league. The league average for pressure to sack ratio is at 15%. He's at 31%. The best quarterbacks in the league are at 9%. Pressure to sack ratio is a stat that's directly looked at for quarterback ability. It's not an offensive line stat because all quarterbacks receive pressure. Yeah. It's about how you handle that pressure. And so right now he's taking these sacks. That means he's not throwing interceptions, but I'm not going to hang my head on those interceptions because of the 66 sacks. They're both negative plays. And then you also look at the amount of overthrows that are not even close downfield. That also plays into it. So I think there's other factors that came into that interception streak. It finally comes to an end. It's not all gloom and doom with Caleb, but I don't also have to be tried to oversold how great it's been because it just hasn't. And that's okay to say, but I think it also needs to be acknowledged.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. We got more on that coming up. We're also going to hear from Thomas Brown, who said some interesting comments already, and we got all that coming your way.
That's right. But me and Briggs are going to tell you all about Miller Lite. That's right. Hoge was going to try to do this Miller Lite lead, but this is my Miller Lite read. Thank you very much. A lot's changed over the years. One thing that hasn't is the great taste of Miller Lite.
Weird, because I'm the only one drinking it right
Another
now.
thing that hasn't changed is that it's less filling. So what is the best thing about original light beer? Well, Miller Lite sparked this debate in 1975, and we still haven't settled it. And we were trying to settle it at the tailgate today. We've had Miller Lites all year long at our tailgates. Our last one was today, and a lot of Miller Lites were had, and a lot of good times with a lot of great people, and that is because of the good people at Miller Lite. And Miller Lite keeps it simple, undebatable quality, great taste, only 96 calories. Miller Lite is the official beer of the Chicago Bears. You don't have to choose what's best. Miller Lite has great taste and is less filling. Tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/CHGO football, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer. Make sure you go get yourself some Miller Lite.
And whether it's pro or college, the app to bet football is Circa Sports Illinois. Circa Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season. Spreads, props, futures are in-game. Circa Sports has it. Fun and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Steven, let's sneak in some super chats here because I saw some big ones fly in early. Appreciate all those coming in, especially the big money super chats, which we like to get in here early on in the show. We got Giuseppe, who always brings it with the supers. Really appreciate it. And he says, that was tough to watch. You can't tell me there are no hot routes. And again, where is tight end 85? Boy, he was completely missing today. At least the D looked good.
Caleb found him.
What's that?
Caleb found his cheeks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We saw him when Caleb ran into his ass. Giuseppe says, I just don't get where the play action and tight end are. Let's just beat the Packers. Love the show. # bear down.
The closest Caleb came to getting the ball today was when Caleb put it right on his cheeks on the run. Oh, man.
What else we got here? We got 100. Ooh, we got a couple big ones here. We got should have traded the pick. $100 super chat. This one should be fun. Question, is Caleb worth any of the other QBs last draft and multiple future first-round picks and then some? I'd say no. Also, I have insider information on the Bears head coach. They're going to hire the wrong guy, no matter what. Very high on him per sources. Love you, Briggs.
And I love you back.
And then Michael Rudenza, our guy here with $50, saying the perfect symbol for these unlovable losers. So many laughing and smiling. Notably, the amply paid Edmonds and Sweat. Embarrassing. Icing on the cake, I had to start Caleb in my fantasy chip because Jalen Hurts was hurt. I have no feelings. That's a tough.
Numb.
That's tough right there.
Numb.
Lance, I want to ask you about that, though, because there's a sequence in the first half with DK Metcalf. And, okay, it's one thing to have like a little scrum and they're whatever. I actually, to Tyreek Stevenson's credit, for one time, he actually like just kind of did the talking and then let the other guy react.
Yes.
And he held his composure.
He held his composure.
Yeah. However, the talking kept going for like
a
while. And it was like, at some point I just reached the point where I'm like, boy, this team does a lot of talking for not winning ever. Having been in those moments, like, do you understand how that kept going? Did you have a problem with it at all? I didn't have a problem with it right away. It was just that it kept going, and the game was going so bad. And I'm just like, man, you guys talk a lot for not winning.
Yeah. Okay, so I'd have a problem with it if the defense didn't play as well as they were playing. A guy like DK Metcalf, if you can get him out of his game and you get him focusing more on that than running the plays, that could potentially be a win for us defensively. And if Tyreek wasn't so controlled in that situation, maybe I would have had more of an issue with it. But I think he knew. He knew, especially after he got face mushed 3 times and headbutted. Like, I'm in this guy's head. I'm in this guy's head. Nobody on the field talks more than DBs and wide receivers. Everybody, we all know that. And so, and part of that competition is there's a mind game out there.
Yeah, I was honestly surprised that Tyreek Stevenson wasn't the one about to get a penalty there. I didn't know what to do with my.
You actually started yelling at the ref because you couldn't hear what the ref was saying, and you thought they were going to give.
Yeah. I thought they were
offsetting penalties.
Because he pointed both ways, and I thought he's about to give both people just because it's Tyreek.
Yeah,
which I wouldn't have blamed him. Sometimes you get those reputations.
Right, but he needed to do that. Yeah. He really needed to do that. People from Seattle won't understand that situation or won't understand that with Tyreek. But people in Chicago, going back to the Hail Mary, they know that was a really important play because we've talked about how good he is, but how immature he has been. And how he's as good of a player he can cost us. He's going to cost us games. So to see him do that, that gives me a lot of confidence, or a little more confidence about him moving forward as one of our players.
I don't mind somebody that talks crap. Just know where the line is. Know when to put your head back in the huddle. You can't.
Where's the line, Braggs?
Right. Well, the line is don't mess it up.
Do you know what I mean? Right. The line is the flag.
Right. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's a slippery slope, too, though, because he kept jawing at him as he was on the sideline. At that point, then I need Tyreek to come back to worry about the people on the field. But, hey, he didn't get a flag. So be it.
Does got a history of that.
It's a low bar at this point. So I don't know. I just think overall, we could talk about what happened in the game throughout, so be it. But really, it is for me a lot about what happened in the stands. And you hear all these fans chanting, "Sell the team, sell the team," and it got loud. And for me, like George McCaskey at some point has to understand this. I saw on Twitter somebody took a picture with him in South Lot and then posted it on Twitter with the caption, "Sell the team." Like, we are a laughing stock. And George McCaskey is wearing this. And at some point, I don't know how he fixes this reputation. And I understand he's not a football guy and he's a Bears fan first. That's great. So are the 62,000 people that showed up to your game and sat in the rain and watched this pitiful display of football. 2 years ago, you were on a 14-game losing streak, which was the most in franchise history. And now if you don't beat Green Bay 10 days from now, you're going to finish this season on an 11-game losing streak. National pundits are making fun of you. CM Punk is on the Amazon Prime broadcast on Christmas Day saying that the McCaskies need to sell or nothing will change. How do you change this perception, George? Because when you look at Detroit and you look up north and you look at that Ford family, a lot of Detroit Lions fans were saying the same thing, putting paper bags on their heads, and they couldn't stay in the Ford family. Well, the team stayed in the Ford family, and the Detroit Lions are no longer the laughing stock of the NFL. We are. We are the laughing stock of the NFL. The Bears are going to bear. It ain't the Lions going to Lions anymore. Ooh. So it is put up or shut up time. It's been past that time for you, George. And I don't know if you have the answers that are needed for this test. Because for us as Bears fans, we are loyal to a fault, but at some point the rubber is going to meet the road. Because if you look at the Bulls fans that are going to they stopped going. They had a record streak of sellouts at the UC. That doesn't happen anymore. So the banking on the loyalty of the Chicago Bears fans is going to run thin, George. I promise you.
You think people are going to start getting tattoos removed or covered?
You know what I mean? What would you get over the Chicago Bears tattoo to like get it to cover up? You know what I mean?
Turn it into a lion.
Like what could you turn it into?
Like Rafiki and Lion King, you just like, smudge the.
You can get it covered with Notre Dame if they go to the national championship this year.
Yeah. I mean,
here. Do you know that the Virginia is pissed off press conference? We're coming up on 10 years. That was after the 2014 season.
Right.
That was 10 years ago.
Still playing, guys.
Yeah.
I hadn't retired yet.
And Virginia's pissed off. We're going to get this fixed.
I was pissed off too, Virginia. Trust me. I was pissed off with you.
And George has had another 10 years. And yet, I believe this is now the 2 longest losing streaks in franchise history in the last 3 years. Under Ryan Poles. Now, the first one was understandable. They were rebuilding the roster. Mm-hmm. But in year 3,
right
now you've lost 10.
Well,
10
that's why when you ask, like, what there doesn't seem to be a good option when it comes to Ryan Poles. I honestly, at this point, the only option is to just wipe the slate clean and let them figure out a new GM and head coach.
But getting back to what you're talking about with George, though, this is where this franchise has lost so much credibility. It wouldn't. I'm not saying I know anything about this. The point is I don't know. It would not shock me to find out that they've already given him an extension.
Well, can you find that out for us?
I'm trying. But that's my point, because, like, if you already made the decision we're firing Flus and you're going to come out that hard at the press conference that Kevin Warren did and said, this is our GM and he's going to be leading the coaching search.
What guy are you going to bring in here?
As a GM?
They all seem to think a whole hell of a lot alike, especially the ones that come to the Bears. I'm more worried about the unknown than I am about what I know.
Well, what if Ben Johnson wants to bring Ray Agnew, who's the Lions assistant GM, and you knew that was a package deal? You signing up for that? I think I am.
Yes.
I think I am. I think I'm like, okay. So we're bringing the coach that has the best offense in the league, and then the assistant GM for the franchise that just turned everything around the way we need to. Whether it ends up working or not, I'm okay with that process.
I'm okay with that if that's part of the If he says that, yeah.
Okay. All right. We got Thomas Brown waiting for you here in a second, but we do need to take one more timeout. And that starts with our friends at Factor.
That's right. It absolutely does. Factor lets you do you. Choose from 6 menu preferences to help you manage calories, maximize protein intake, avoid meat, or simply eat well balanced, because Factor meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved. You're going to love not only how Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals. And check this out, Briggsy. Factor is cheaper than takeout and dining out.
Oh.
So put the money you save towards holiday shopping
And
that you've already put out there in toxic taco hell and help reach your financial goals with Factor meals. Find guilt-free comfort foods like home-style chicken and gravy and loaded mashed potato pork chops, feel-good vegan options like sweet potato and chickpea curry, and globally inspired flavors like Peruvian shrimp and red pepper Cali grits.
Peruvian.
Shut up.
Peruvian.
Shut up.
Peruvian.
Shut up. There's no sacrificing for convenience with Factor. Weekly menus offer ways to treat yourself to a restaurant-like meal experience with gourmet plus dishes that feature premium proteins and seasonal sides like broccolini, leeks, and asparagus. How does truffle butter filet mignon or garlic herb roasted barramundi sound? It sounds mouth-watering.
It's close.
Yep.
That's right. Stay on your A game with quality ingredients you can trust and quality you can taste in every one of Factor's fresh, never frozen meals. Use your time more efficiently. So important during these dark months. Let Factor take shopping, prepping, cooking, and cleaning off of your daily list of things to do. So head to factormeals.com/CHGO, 50 CHGO Bears, I should say. And to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's 50 CHGO Bears at factormeals.com to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping with your subscription when it's active.
And I have the best way for you to end 2024. You're going to head to Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and shop the Wrap Up the Year sales event to score some of the year's best savings on new vehicles. Before the clock strikes 2025, hurry into Ray CDJR to browse their huge inventory of new vehicles. And right now, celebrate the end of 2024 with $24,000 off MSRP on select new vehicles with a dealer discount. Or shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. Let the amazing team at Ray CDJR help you during each step of your car shopping journey with Ray's Price Promise. The numbers you're hearing now are the same prices you can expect to shop in-store and online. So if you're in the market for a new vehicle, you have to check out the team at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram because they are the only team we recommend. Visit them today on Route 12 in Fox Lake. For more information, visit Ray CDJR in Fox Lake or raycdjr.com. Serving the community since 1963.
It's a long time.
That's right. It was the year Carm was born.
That's right.
All right. Thomas Brown. We have his press conference from him after the game. He certainly had some questions that he had to answer.
Hopefully it started with an apology.
It might have, actually. Here's Thomas Brown after the game.
All the guys made it out healthy, which is awesome. So I'll tell you guys, I kind of what I just told the team a minute ago. So this morning, the team meeting, I asked that all 3 phases play their best together at one time. And I thought special teams played extremely well. I thought defense played their butts off the entire night. And the offense was not good enough, which starts with me as far as the game plan that I had coming into this game, having those guys ready to go. We had plenty of opportunities to win it. You know, had an unfortunate call early on that took away one of the touchdowns, but still had plenty of chances to take at bats. And that's extremely frustrating and disappointing, which is 100% on me. And so we'll have a couple of days off, have a chance to regroup, and then have one more crack at it.
Thomas, where were your kick lines on that last drive?
34, 37-yard line, so somewhat close to it.
When you guys get 1st and 10 at the 40, what would you like to see happen in those next 4 plays? And did you have anything up for a potential run in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, just be able to execute. Obviously, they were zeroing us out, so there's not many other than running a quarterback, like design quarterback runs that are great answers versus zero coverage. So just make sure we, got in a spot where felt like it was a legitimate chance to go make a field goal at that point. Obviously, at the end of the game, had a chance to try to go protect it, buy some time, and have a shot down the middle of the field to DJ. Ball kind of got tipped, I believe, or Caleb got hit, or arm got hit, releasing it. So that didn't work out. But like I said, overall, wasn't good enough as far as the game plan I had for these guys, and also didn't have all offense ready to go.
What happened with the operation with the 2 timeouts on that drive?
Which ones are you referring to? On the last drive?
The last drive.
Yeah, I mean, just being able to have cleaner communication, get out in the huddle, start the ball faster. So I didn't want to waste plays. You have a timeout from a delayed game standpoint. So that was the whole reason for burning the timeout.
So what was the confusion on the first timeout of not knowing whether you were going to punt or go for it?
It wasn't confusing at all. I just changed my mind. I think being able to use Torrey as a weapon, and we still had, I think it was 2:16 on the clock, still had all 3 timeouts, plus a 2-minute warning. So the way our defense has been playing all day, possibly have a chance to go flip the field. And force a 3 and out, get a shorter field, and have like a last in the game drive. So that was my thought process. And then over the course of that, changed my mind and said, let's go for it now. And so send the offense back on the grass.
What made you change your mind?
I just want to be more aggressive.
Well, after Caleb hit his wrong, he was on the ground about a minute to go, and the clock came all the way down. What was the decision not to call a timeout there as opposed to?
Save before got to have a scenario. So that was the reason. Save for later.
That was those final 2 throws. Obviously, they're bringing the house. Mm-hmm. But were there any other options kind of for Caleb on that situation, or try to get it into field goal range, or is it limited?
Well, they're playing zero coverage a little bit tighter. There's not many great options for the ball to be out. There's a couple of screens you can end up getting to, but they'll still be able to rally to the football a little bit quicker. So try to just make sure we guaranteed into a true field goal opportunity that was legitimate and we felt good about. So that was the thought process behind it.
Coach, when you got made the OC, you guys had Hawkins served. Since then, you guys have double scored 20 points. Is there a correlation there, or is it just a matter of not executing in the individual game?
Not executing.
What's your sense of why the offense struggled the way it did tonight outside of just the only accountability you took just a minute ago?
Yeah, I wasn't good enough. So put it on me.
At the end, at the Seattle 40, you said the kick line was 34 to 37 at the longest. Is that right?
Somewhere in that range, yep.
So what thought process was there as far as possibly running on 2nd and 3rd down to get into that range versus trying to go for the win?
Well, a couple of things felt good about the runs. Obviously, still wanted to go for the win, but as we talked about before, we had a ton of great options to run the football versus zero coverage. So felt better about throwing the football.
Coach, it seemed like there was a few times when Caleb held onto the ball quite a bit. Have you ever had conversations with him recently about the tendency to either get the ball off quicker or take the yards in front of them?
Yeah, we talked about it a couple times. But, again, I put it on myself to call plays where the ball can come out faster. So, awesome. Thanks.
Lance, should I be worried that he said multiple times there that there's not great answers when they're getting zeroed out? Except run with the quarterback? Like, don't you have 3 wide receivers you brought in here that should be able to win?
Zero coverage. There's ways that you can manipulate that. You have no help. You have no help. Everybody is everybody has somebody. There's no help, so you can't tell me that there's an immediate pick route right now that you couldn't get somebody to. Things come to my mind, and I'm a defensive coach, but that's their belief. Sometimes what I do know is this: there are times where we've had to limit our defense based off of personnel. There are things that we wanted to do, and it was like, okay, we have these guys, so we have to flip the field every time they change. They change their strength. We have to flip the field instead of rock and roll. There's certain things because certain players couldn't handle it. We might have 10 that can and 1 can't, so we had to make our coverage more vanilla. You know, and maybe the personnel is dictating what he can and cannot do in those situations. I don't know, but I do know if you see zero coverage, there's a pick route right now that should be able to get a guy open.
I mean, so this is essentially you're saying then that the offensive line is so bad that when they send the house, to put it in its most simplest terms,
What I'm asking,
that
Greg,
they're saying multiple people are not going to pick it up.
Possibilities.
I just don't understand why they couldn't have been anything underneath there to just pick up the 5 yards you needed to get in field goal range on any of those plays. That's why I'm confused. I'm also confused. Maybe Caleb will have an answer for us too, because the other thing you do against zero is because there's no safety help off the top. Let your wide receivers win downfield. And that second down throw,
to Rome. That was.
I'm so confused about what happened there because it actually looked like.
Yeah, the step.
Rome beat his guy.
He beat him.
Throw a go ball. That might have been a touchdown.
Right, but
and instead it was like a floater.
Yeah, but he's
back
running
shoulder that landed out of bounds.
But he's running backwards.
He's the number one pick.
You're running backwards 12 yards, and you're expected to then throw it.
You draft him number one because he can make those. He's supposed to be able to make those kind of throws.
You see the throw he made against UCLA last year?
Yeah, but he was able to step into that, right?
I don't think so. He was running the opposite way, going backwards, and flipped it all the way across his body.
I don't think he was going backwards, if we're being fair here. Like, that's okay. All
Greg,
arm.
Should the ball land in bounds?
Right.
Can we just start with that?
But you're asking.
I'm asking the ball to be in bounds.
I'm not disagreeing with that point, but to ask him to get it to the end zone, I kind of have to go back to see where we were on the field.
No, I'm not saying get it to the end zone. I'm just saying catchable. In stride.
Make it catchable.
Not a weird back shoulder where Rome was literally
right. He's trying to track it like a outfielder. You know,
so weird. I
got a pop fly.
I don't know. You know what? We're not going to get answers to this stuff.
We're not.
That's what
we're not.
I think we have Cole Kmet. Okay. Here's Cole after the game. At least, I mean, he's there to talk every single week, regardless of what's been going on. But again, another game where you barely saw the Bears tight end. Here's Cole.
Much into it. It seemed like we were going for the win there, which I'm totally fine with. I mean, at this point, nothing to lose. So just trying to get go for the win. And just came up short again.
You said at the last game you're done trying to find confidence. So what do you need to take away from this one?
Not much.
You said it's about a couple games. What operations?
Yeah, I think we just obviously weren't detailed enough everywhere, and so we all got to be better, and we definitely need to do a good enough job as players coming in with a short week.
What was going on the sideline on the 4th and 1, 4th and 5, going for it, not going for it?
I'm not sure. Obviously, we were going for it there in 4th and 1. We had talking about when we had the false start there. Yeah. False start there, and then they sent us back out, so going for it. So, but not really sure the ins and outs of that.
Well, you guys have 2 timeouts in that situation where you might do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Close to field goal range.
I'm sure we were. To me, I was in my head. I was kind of going to just go for the win. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, like to tie it up, and based on how we were going offensively, like. I totally understand it, at that point. So just try and go get a win there, and obviously we couldn't get it done.
So the call on the last play, and obviously they sent the house, but what were you guys hoping to get done?
Yeah, I mean, without going too much into it, 7-man protection. They kind of overloaded my side based on the protection rules. So you're going to have one free guy there, and but yeah, so they definitely brought the pressure. And, we're in a good defense to make a play there. Yeah. Just tough. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to go out like that, 10 of the year at Soldier. So yeah, it's been a long year. It's been a long, tough year, and tough to see it end like this. And for being at Soldier, and yeah, just tough overall. Definitely not the season that we envisioned. Coming in here.
All right, there's Cole Kmet after the game. Been a rough second half of the season for him and a lot of the team. No targets tonight for Cole Kmet, which I don't know what to say anymore. I don't know how you can't find your tight end at some point.
He found him.
He ran into his ass. He ran into his
Right
ass.
into the cheeks.
Yep, like Fred Astaire.
Caleb's scrambling to go out of bounds, and you think it's either he's going to go out of bounds, or cut upfield, and instead he jukes right by Caleb's ass cheeks or Cole's ass cheeks, and then the player tackles Cole right into him and like wipes Cole out. And Cole it was.
Well, was that Detroit when he did that too this season? He like stayed in bounds at the last second and then almost had like his knee ripped off of his leg.
Right.
I was like, please don't ever do that again.
It was so bizarre.
All right. Well, let's see if Caleb has any answers after the game. Here's the quarterback.
He apologized.
6-3 loss. 6-3.
How's everybody doing? Awesome. Let's do it.
Go ahead.
Let's get it going.
Yeah, the final play there. What are you hoping to get there, and not knowing they're bringing the house? What are your answers?
Yeah, my answer is where I tried to throw it is to DJ. Knowing they're bringing the house, we put as many guys as we could to block, and they just had one more guy to the back, and tried to fade away and throw it to DJ on a runaway, one of our fastest guys, if not our fastest guy, and missed, got hit or however it happened, and yeah.
What issues did you see on the final drive as far as lack of urgency and clock management, timeout management?
Yeah, haven't been able to obviously digest it all, so I can't really give you a full answer. I think we simply didn't execute. I think obviously there's times where you can have a better call, want a better call, things like that, but we didn't execute. I didn't execute on many different occasions this game, and it's frustrating, but got to find a way.
Caleb, you've obviously felt the admiration and excitement from this fan base since you got drafted here, but there's been boos, there's been a chance to sell the team tonight. How do you, as a young player, process kind of the frustration of this fan base in this whole season?
Yeah, I've only been here for, it's my first year, so, their frustrations, go way longer back than I've been here. My job is to, go out there and win games, and, we don't focus on outside noise. The fans are, they're going to cheer and maybe boo sometimes, and you can't react to that. It's not something that we react to. We have a job to do, and sometimes you don't do so well on the job some days, and some days you're pretty consistent. Some days you play a great game. So, I think today was one of those games that, I think we played on two sides of the ball today pretty well, special teams and defense. And then, offense, we didn't play well. There was miscues. There was stupid sacks that I was taking, losing 10, 14 yards, which is frustrating. But, I will say that I'll definitely take the heat for this one, just because some of the situations that I put us in, like I said, that sack that I took that I didn't need to take, which put us, we were in empty, and I brought a guy from the boundary, just throw it over the guy's head, and you're still playing. Obviously, you don't want to. You want to get a positive play there, but in that sense, it's a positive play. So, got to be better.
What was your frustration level with this game? You looked understandably very angry after the way that it ended.
Yeah, I was frustrated. Still frustrated. Gonna probably be frustrated until tomorrow. After I get a good chance to watch it and things like that. So, I didn't play well enough. I didn't help put the team in a good position to win, a better position to win, and that's what it is.
You said on the Amazon pregame interview we saw that you didn't meet the expectations this season of winning and of playing your best.
Yep.
What did you mean particularly about your performance individually?
Yeah, just being able to, from start to finish, be able to be consistent throughout the whole season. Obviously, their job over there on the defensive side is to be able to provide inconsistency and things like that. But find a ways to just be consistent, play good football, consistent football when the ball's in my hand, and from all the alerts and things like that. And then I think obviously the expectation of winning, that'll always be my expectation, is to win as many games that we have. Obviously that's not always the case, but that will always be my goal. Whenever I'm on the field or preparing throughout the week and things like that.
Converted the third down at Rome across midfield on the final drive, and then took like 30-some seconds to get the next snap up. What happened in that sequence that made it so slow to get the next play on?
Yeah, I got hit in the throat, and I got hit in the throat, and so.
Caleb, did the final drive feel like deja vu to a degree? I mean, obviously with the game management issues on Thanksgiving, there were similar clock management issues, 45 seconds, 38 seconds taking off in between when you guys were getting set to run plays. Did that feel like you had seen those issues before?
Does it feel like I've seen those issues before? I mean, I think it was a different situation, different coach, different all of that. So, I think we I don't know if the coaches, saw me down there after the big completion of Rome. I believe you're talking about after that, right? After the big completion of Rome. I don't know if the coaches saw me, even though I got hit in the throat and the face. Gotta just get up and go and run down and snap the ball. So once again, just putting this game, taking the heat in this game. Didn't do a good enough job in situations. Didn't do a good enough job throughout the game, being able to manage the game, and it doesn't just mean managing the clock. It also means just managing down the distances and things like that.
Caleb, you mentioned this.
For what it's worth, he does seem to have a good level of awareness for what he's not doing well, and not shying away from it at all. And certainly, it's not like he bust tosses O lineman for the sacks. He pretty much seemed like he put all of that on himself tonight.
Yeah. It's hard to find the word that I want to use, because it's not comforting, but I do like that there was a level of accountability there.
Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about the sacks that he shouldn't have taken, talked about his
throws,
consistency throughout the year.
Yeah.
And that's the thing where he said, and I'm glad he said it, because I said it here on the show, and I'm sure there's some fans in the chat, I didn't see it, but where I say he didn't meet expectations, at least that I thought he could hit this year. What do you mean? He's got almost 3,500 yards passing, and he's done this. He's got 20 touchdowns, 6 picks. What else do you want? I'm not just throw all the stats to the side. There's the simple expectation of things that he can control. We've talked about this before. Control what you can control. And there are things that he is responsible for, and there is your quarterback taking responsibility for those things. And I just think in this city, we spend way too much time trying as hard as we can to defend bad quarterback play, and because you're worried about the person you've been arguing with for the last 12 months about something that has nothing to do with the actual quarterback on the field. Caleb Williams has a higher standard that he needs to hit. He acknowledged that, and it's okay for Bears fans to say, okay, it's encouraging, but it's not good enough. And this is what we went through with Justin Fields. There was a lot of things very encouraging about him, but at the end of the day, it was not good enough. And so if Caleb's going to meet the standard of expectation of the number one pick that they brought here to Chicago, he's going to have to continue to elevate his game to something we have never seen here before. And so trying to lower the bar for him to make ourselves feel better for the next 6 months doesn't help anything. Let's keep the standard high and see if he can hit that standard, because that's what we deserve here in Chicago, and that is what Caleb Williams is going for.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad he understands the issues, and I don't think anything's getting fixed between now and when they play Green Bay.
No.
This situation is what it is right now. I don't know why he doesn't find his tight end. I'm starting to get questions now, like, does he even like Cole Kmet? Yeah, they're together all the time. They have lockers right next to each other.
Cole went to USC
out there. He's the only teammate that did that. Like, there's no personal issues there. I can't explain it. There's a lot of things I can't explain about this team, guys. This team has been unbelievably weird. It's been an odd season. There's a lot of things that don't make sense. What I do know in this league is if you have a talented quarterback and you can pair that quarterback with a good coach, typically teams win football games. So that's all we can hang our hat on is hopefully they hire the right guy here. They get an offensive line because that's the other thing you need to win football games.
You need an offensive line.
Yeah.
Coach. You need a good offensive line coach. I want a detailed coaching staff. That's what I want. I want a detailed coaching staff that is coming out and they're not overlooking stuff. I don't want the guy that is ascending fast because he's got this name, and he's ascending up, and now we're going to make him the defensive coordinator or the passing game coordinator or the defensive pass coordinator or whatever it is. I want coaches that are detailed, that know. Of course, a lot of these guys know what the hell they're doing, or somewhat. Some of them, now, watching this game, maybe they don't. But I just really want someone that is going to take these guys and can take them to the next level, because the reality is where we're at right now. This game that the Bears just lost 6-3. We'll be lucky to have games like that next year. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we're looking at. You're looking at it, really taking a step back, really focusing on the run and play action, and our defense getting back to what, like they played today.
Mm-hmm.
That is the reality of where we're at, and what we're looking at moving forward. So I really want to see the defense play well next week against the Packers and finish the last two games strong.
All right, couple things we got to get done here before we get out of here. Appreciate everybody watching. We got to get some of your super chats as well. Mark Carman had to leave earlier because of a family emergency, so thoughts are with him. Hope everything's okay there. Of course, and you guys know he does his Carm's Notes segment every single week. We can still knock this out. We can get Carm's notes.
Mm-hmm.
He should have left us his notebook, and then we could have actually read his notes. That would have been, or tried to read that handwriting.
Yeah.
But Carm's notes are brought to you by Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders.
I've got some notes, guys.
Okay.
This is great. Here we go.
But you got to start it by talking like Mark Carman. So you got to go, you see there, Adam Hoge, but we're going to say some really stupid things into a microphone because the Bears suck and we're 6-3 and here you go and here's Lance Briggs.
Right. I'm
That's
not
how
that good.
He does that sometimes.
I'm not that good. But
thank you. Emma gave me the thumbs up. He does that. He does that sometimes.
But I do have a few notes.
Okay.
All right. We'll start right here. Bears/Seattle first quarter. TJ needs to see the QB throwing. Bid on the play fake pass. It's a Bear pass, so it's right now, meaning you're taking steps toward the run. Quarterback's grabbing it and throwing it to the receiver immediately. So when that happens, if you make break to the ball immediately, you'll be able to show up, and they won't be able to get 5 yards after the catch. Weird alignment up front. O-line, Bears in Bear front, they double Taylor, and it's wide open down the middle of the field. No LB help, but probably because they were in a Bear front and they had their linebackers over. Dropped INT by number 49.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
TJ runs into him, jars it loose, but
pass breakup on your own linebacker.
Should have caught it anyway, I thought.
Yep. Odunze drops catchable ball and terrible blocking on the perimeter. Overthrows on third down by number 18. Drops by number 13 and number 15 on third down, which would have extended drives. Another missed perimeter block that would have been a first down by Swift from Odunze.
Yeah.
I don't like Tremaine Edmonds spilling the pulling tackle. He should be hammering it to the other to TJ, who's coming downhill, but he spills it, and you seal the other linebacker who's coming over the top, and it opens a big gap for the running back to run. Please stop jumping number 4. I don't know why you did it. I don't know why you did it.
I believe I can fly.
He's trying to hurdle.
I believe I can touch
He wasn't like he was going over one guy. He tried to jump over 3 dudes.
I know you played in Philly, but you are not Saquon Barkley.
Saquon will jump it backwards.
Backwards. Number 18 taking a sack on 2nd and 7. Number throw to number 4. Obviously that was the throw to Swift. That was too early. If he'd have waited a little bit more.
Yeah, he rushed it.
Oh, yeah.
He rushed it, and he didn't need to. I mean,
not happy.
The blitz is coming on you.
Pissed.
Right. They're coming on a screen. They're blitzing, so you got it set up. And if you just wait a half second longer, it might set up for you, and then it's a big play. You could see Swift was really frustrated on that play.
I thought this was a bad throw to number 4 that I thought was a would-be touchdown. He ran like a wheel route, and Caleb overthrew it. He overthrew it. It looked like he was maybe throwing it away, but he had Swift in between the safety and the corner. And whether it was a touchdown or not, we would have been in the red zone. Last one, Tariq Stevenson saw some growth. DK Metcalf penalty. DK should have been ejected.
That was, nice
was.
job on the Briggs notes. There was a lot more football in those notes. And
There was.
And like Carm's notes are supposed to be funny, but honestly, Carm's notes haven't been funny all year, but they're supposed to be. So at least, I mean, they haven't. Like, we're trying for them to be funny. But Carm's lost his touch a little bit, I guess. But Briggs's football notes, they were dialed in.
Hey, Briggs?
You're welcome. I got you, man. I got you.
Shoot.
That was the best Carm's notes segment in the history.
That really was. And I'll add some.
got their money's worth there.
I'll add some notes into it as well. He did have a list of people that he wrote down, as he always does when we go to our tailgates.
Yeah, he did that on the pregame show.
Oh, he did. Good. I'm glad he did. Yeah. So go watch the pregame show if you haven't. For all of you guys got your shout outs from the tailgate from Carm himself. But I will say it was our last tailgate of the year. We did one for every single home game all year. It's our second year being at the Chicago Bears Tailgating Club. So shout out to those guys, Tim Shanley. They all do such a great job. Yep. And we're all a big family there at the corner of Wabash and Cermak, and we'll certainly miss all our people and all the fans that have come out all year to our tailgates. Thank you to you guys. Thank you to Sunnyside for sponsoring our tailgates. Thank you to Miller Lite as well. And honestly, everybody, there was five different people there today from Australia, and they did not come together. There were like 3 separate groups of people from Australia. It was like a little bit of a takeover going on here, like a slow moving Australian invasion going on in the city of Chicago. By next week, there will be hundreds of them. So be on the lookout.
Sunnyside.
And one of them, his shout out to Kyle. He just got engaged. So shout out to those guys. They were there. And, I also had another buddy from the region that came through. I want to make sure I get his name right. But just so many different people throughout the year that we were able to meet. And it's why we do what we do, to be able to meet you guys. Francisco from Valpo. We exchanged numbers because he's a big golfer. We're going to go golfing here one of these days. We both live in the region. So it's a community that we've built, and it's a testament to you guys and the support you show to what we do here. So thank you to everybody that's come out for our tailgates this year. Cannot wait for week 1 next year. First home game. We'll be there at the corner of Wabash and Cermak, as we always are. And we can't wait for you guys to be there as well.
You were talking about Kyle Higgins, who I wrote the comic book with, who is getting married to an Australian.
That's Kyle.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Kyle.
Kyle's he's local. He's from here.
Right.
Absolutely.
And he helped write your comic book.
Yes, Black Market Narrative. Doing big things, man. He's doing big things with Black Market Narrative.
I had one out here.
Bust this thing out. Look
Oh,
at this
nice.
thing. Look at the trap.
Probably lost a little bit of value. I saw you pull it out of your backpack.
No.
It's not protected.
Actually,
it's not protected. It's fine.
There's a surprise I got in my backpack, but I'll save that for next Sunday because it's a woot surprise.
Okay.
He's got a Christmas present coming his way. But the trap. Shout out to Kyle, Briggs's guy, our guy, and shout out to everybody that came by the tailgates all season long.
Including me. I went to every single one.
Hoge, shout out to him. He came from Minnesota. Still showed up to the tailgate here today.
It was a quickie today.
Impressive.
But I got there.
It was a quickie, huh?
It was a quickie.
Quickie.
We did a little
Sometimes necessary.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's where Carm would have made it a lot weirder. By saying
Definitely. Hoge was like, let's move off the quickie talk.
All right, let's get to Super Chats before we get out of here. We got a $100 Super Chat from Craig Leach. What the effing F? Terrible protection and play calling, not complimentary football. Yes.
Said it.
Yes, that's 100% true. Seth Crane, $20, 118 days, 20 hours, and 53 minutes till the draft, guys. Don't worry.
Free agency first, pal. Free agency first.
Just please sign.
Like Monday.
Put some. Yeah, we got a lot. But please draft and sign every offensive lineman possible. Quackinator 100, $20. Honestly, I have to give Poles and Flus credit. I don't think you could have assembled a more incompetent coaching staff if you tried. Wonder if that was Flus's insurance to avoid being fired in season. They have failed Caleb.
Yeah. I mean, Poles saying in the pregame interview he did on ESPN 1000, saying like, a lot of the things going on right now are problems that weren't addressed properly in the preseason. Well, Ryan, you're a part of that.
That was crazy.
You're a part of that. You can't. That better not be an excuse away from you. That's an excuse directly at you. We go to these training camps. We watch these guys, Ryan and the coaching staff and everybody after every practice, all be in a circle and talk. So you guys are either on the same page or you're not. And if you're not, then that falls on you. Ryan, so if problems weren't addressed, you did not address them.
Fair comment. All right, Mace Dog, $10. Sup, y'all, day one listener, first time super chatter. Welcome.
Yeah.
Appreciate all you guys do to make this train wreck more tolerable to follow. We can't go into next year with the second cheapest O-line again. Unacceptable.
Yeah.
Get what you pay for.
Yeah. Yeah.
I vote next year that they don't even try to play with an offensive line. I say we just try that.
Well, they did enter flag football into the Olympics. So there's a chance that we could win that division.
Okay.
Shane Waldron was actually named the first head coach of the flag football team.
Good fit.
No, Steven believed me.
You said that way too seriously.
That was real too.
No, but it might be real. Total Malarkey, $10. We demand Greg Baggs.
The Bagman?
Bagman
returneth for the final week of the season.
Bagman.
Think about all the bad things that have happened since you were Bagman.
I don't want to think about it.
Rick Jones, $10. There was not a more fitting moment than watching Roquan dominate yesterday and then watching the two guys who replaced him take each other out for a sure interception.
Yeah.
Roquan got his moment on Hard Knocks. He got his moment on Christmas.
And if they keep going the way they're going, he's going to have his moment in these playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
On the way to the championship.
Our guy, Mark Gauthier, staying up all night out there in England. $10. Good morning. It is 4:06. Deja vu, Detroit for the last 2 minutes. We were being punked by the broadcast team all night. Sell the team chance. Like and subscribe. Yeah, they were. The broadcast definitely had a narrative tonight. That's for sure. But I can't say it was unfair. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you are on national television en route to a 10-game losing streak. Young Mine, Elevation, 199. 7 losses decided by 1 score. Yeah, they're like the opposite of the Vikings. Kevin O'Connell, who they didn't interview. It's like the best record in NFL history in one-score games. Bears have the opposite. Bear down Omaha, $2. Can confirm Mima in Omaha. Still pissed.
Mima. Sorry, Mima.
Yeah.
At least you got to enjoy your Christmas this time. Sorry, your Thanksgiving got ruined.
That's going to do it for us. We got another show coming your way tomorrow, 1 o'clock. We will, unfortunately, review the tape, come back, get the grades. I feel like you're going to get at least one good grade, Professor.
Listen, you're going to be no, you won't be surprised. Listen, they only scored 3 points. So we're looking at the highest grade that the defense has had in months.
6.
So,
well, 6 points. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, 6 points.
So technically,
6 points.
Technically, that could still be a D+.
It's true.
Just technically.
And Torrey Taylor had a lot of punts today.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of punts.
That'll help special teams grade.
Yeah. Well, he was showing out for all those Australians that came to town.
Yeah.
He had to have a
true.
big.
And if we have high grades in at least 2 categories, that probably going to prevent the coaching from being an F.
Ooh.
Just saying.
Okay. All right. Well, we got that coming your way tomorrow, 1 o'clock, CHGO Bears on a Friday edition of the show. And then we'll go into the weekend. And I wish I had good news for you, but they play the Packers to end the season. So there's still that. Appreciate everybody being here. Make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Find us as a podcast. It's always there. These guys do a show every week as well. Awesome having Lance on board with us here at CHGO.
Oh, yeah.
We will talk to you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.